Hello, I'm sitting down to finally film my Q&A video. I reached 800 subscribers about 2 weeks ago, and I filmed a short video asking for questions, and I got quite a few. It's been a busy 2 weeks. I haven't had time to film. I have time to film today, so I am sitting down. And here we go. I'm just going to start at the bottom of the list here and go through them. Most of these questions I haven't actually read yet, so this will be a surprise for me as for you. Tortoise Dreams says, difficult to formulate a question, didn't know whether to ask about pony pals or the notwithstanding clause. So I decided to ask, 1, do you have a garden where you are now? And if so, will there be photos in the spring? Or 2, if you can generalize, does CanLit look more to Britain or North America? I do not have a garden where I am at. There will not be pictures of my garden in the spring, unfortunately, but there are a lot of great parks, a lot of great gardens in Ottawa, and you may get some pictures, some video footage of that as I explore Ottawa in the spring and summer. As to the second question, in the past, I think CanLit has looked more to Britain than to other North American literatures, but contemporary CanLit probably looks more like American literature, but I do think it has a distinct flavor of its own. Leslie Deeming asks, what is your favorite genre? Literary fiction, if you can call literary fiction a genre, I guess. The Rejected Manuscript asks, name a character you would like to have tea with, and what would you like to talk about with this character? Also, which city, anywhere you want. Most of the characters that I enjoy reading about are not the type of people I particularly want to have tea with, but Chantel from Return of the Sphinx, I think, would be an interesting woman to sit down and have tea with. I don't think the city would matter. Montreal, perhaps. Just talk about anything, really. She just seems like an interesting person, someone that I would get along with. Chris Chambers asks, what's something about you that you think your subscribers would find surprising or unexpected? I am a big country music fan. It's pretty much all I listen to. I have a vinyl collection. I have Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, George Jones, Willie Nelson, classics like that, but I also listen to I got Washboard Union's album. I've got the new Dean Brody pre-ordered for the end of the month. I love Eric Church. I've been a long time Blake Shelton fan. Miranda Lambert, Casey Musgraves, High Valley. A mix of Canadian and American country music, I have to admit. At the moment, I'm really loving what Canada's country music industry is putting out, because there are a lot of great songs. Washboard Union and High Valley, I think, are actually breaking out into the American market a little. Dean Brody is one of our best kept secrets. I saw him 2 or 3 years ago when he did a show in Hamilton. He went on tour with Paul Brandt last year, I think. I'm really looking forward to his new album that comes out end of October. Knowledge Lost asks, do you have any particular reading goals, yearly or lifetime goals? As usual, I have a yearly goal of 100 books. I usually surpass that. This year, perhaps not. Grad school has made life very busy. The summer was very busy as well because I was working so much. When you're working 10-hour days, you can't really come home and read. At least I can't. So I'm a little bit behind on where I was with my reading goal last year, but I'm at about 80 books, I think, right now, 70 or 80 or something like that. Lifetime reading goals, pretty much just read as much as I can. Yeah. I'm not really a goal sort of person when it comes to my reading. I'm trying to get through a lot of nonfiction books on Canadian politics this year. Between Lines and Life asks, what's your favorite tea mug? That's the question I always wanted to ask you. I'm actually using it right now. It is my Spade and Archer Detective Agency mug. We have the Maltese Falcon on the back, 1929, and 1929 is, of course, when Dashiell Hammett's novel or novella, The Maltese Falcon, was published. As most of you would know, I hope, it was turned into a movie in 1941 starring Humphrey Bogart, and I've seen that movie so many times because Bogart. Who doesn't love Bogart? Okay. Gary M. has written me quite a long comment / question. He's interested in hearing about what I was like in high school and as a child. You seem like you don't give a damn about what people think, and if more people would figure it out sooner, they would be a lot better off. Thank you for that, Gary. In high school and as a child, I was a very shy and quiet child. I had a couple of close friends as a child. Something happened and I lost them at the end of middle school, went into high school with no friends, and although I had what I would consider, I guess, a couple friends in high school, we didn't really keep in touch. We didn't know each other on a deep level. I was a loner for the most part. I spent my time reading, not into extracurriculars, not into socializing. I didn't date in high school. I didn't go to parties in high school. I read a lot of books. I was very quiet. I hated high school, yeah. Anyway, next question. Rachel Louise Atkin asks, well done. If you had to recommend one book to somebody who says they don't usually enjoy reading, what would it be? This is a difficult one. I would have to, first of all, know what genre they're looking for. I would probably recommend, I don't know, something fun. If it was a kid, I might recommend Enid Blyton's Adventure series, or perhaps a Roald Dahl book, Anne of Green Gables. An adult, I might recommend Tom Spanbauer. I don't know. It would depend on the person, I think. Britta Bowler asks about my studies and my plans for the future after I finish my studies. I have lost track of how many times I've been asked, what are you planning to do with your degree? What career are you looking for? I have no idea. I do know that I enjoy political science. I enjoy politics. When I was nearing the end of high school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I went to university. I got a BA in English rhetoric and writing and political science. I figured it was better to pursue something than to sit still. As I came to the end of my undergraduate degree, I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I knew that I really loved political science. I really enjoyed Canadian politics. So I applied for master's programs. And I still don't know what I want to do. I'm in the process of getting together either a thesis or a research paper proposal. I'm not sure which large project I'm going to work for in my master's yet, but my philosophy is that it's always better to be doing something than to be sitting still and waiting for some epiphany to come to me as to what I want to do with my life. So rather than sitting in my parents' house and continuing to work at a job that I didn't really enjoy, I picked it up and moved to Ottawa. Moved like 300 kilometers or something, and I'm doing something. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but at least I'm moving forward. Okay, next question. A series of questions, actually. Favorite place to read, both in your house and outside of your home? Have you found some nice places for reading in your new city? At the moment, there's only two places I can really read in my house. Either in bed, which is bad because I often fall asleep, or out on the couch in the common living room. It's not a bad place to read, but it is out by the windows and it can get chilly there. Reading at my desk is not a very comfortable option. I have read at the kitchen table occasionally. I do enjoy reading on campus in the political science graduate and faculty lounge. There are a couple of nice chairs in there. Yeah, I'm still working on fantastic places to read. Anne of Green Gables or Emily of New Moon, and why? Anne of Green Gables, of course, because in the 1980s, they made the best movie or miniseries adaptation, and I love that. I love watching it over and over again. I've read all the Anne of Green Gables books. I have beautiful editions of them back at my parents' house. Emily of New Moon is okay. I recall reading those books when I was a kid, but Emily of New Moon never really captured my attention in the same way that Anne of Green Gables did and does. I think one of my favorite moments in the most well-known Anne of Green Gables adaptation is when she recites the poem The Highwayman. Of course, I had to look that up, and it became one of my favorite poems when I was in middle school. Who is your favorite contemporary Canadian author and why? What book by him/her would you recommend to start with? In terms of contemporary Canadian authors, I love Michael Crummey. He is a Newfoundland author. He's set a number of his novels and his poetry in Newfoundland. Galore, fantastic novel. Sweetland, fantastic novel. I've read a few of his poetry collections, Under the Keel. The other two are slipping my mind at the moment. What is your best childhood memory that involves books and literature? Most of my childhood memories are indeed wrapped up in books and literature. I remember going to the local library about once a week, and I would collect a stack of books, check them out and take them home, and I actually remember being about 5 and having one of those stacks of books up on my bed. My sister and I had a bunk bed. I was on the top because I was older than her. She was on the bottom, and she had one of those bar things up so she wouldn't fall out because she was still a toddler. But I would love to stay up late at night reading, and it would be like 9 p.m. and my mom would be coming in telling me to turn off the light and go to sleep. But I would be up there with my books, picture books, chapter books, and I would just be reading away. I have a lot of memories of going to book sales. I have memories of my dad reading to me, my brother, and my sister, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. My mom read us the Little House on the Prairie books. Yeah, I have a lot of good memories in my childhood that include books. Oh, here's a question from Time and Chance. Do you see subscribers as your fans? If so, why? If not, why not? I don't really want to see them as fans. I would rather see them as part of a community, people I'm interacting with. If I'm talking to you on a regular basis, if we're interacting in the comments section, if we're tweeting, then I would consider you more of a booktube friend. We are engaging in a conversation. You are obviously not a fan, but at the same time, I think there are some subscribers that I would consider fans because I have never talked to them. I have no idea who they are other than their channel names. They don't comment. So yeah, I guess there are some fans and there are some friends. It's kind of a difficult topic to discuss on the spur of the moment. I guess what I'm saying is I would like to not consider my subscribers fans. I would like to consider them part of a community, people I am talking to in the same way I would if I were sitting down in a class on campus. But not all subscribers interact in that way. A Hermit's Progress asks, my first question is the typical describe your ideal dinner party guest list. This includes the living, the dead, and the fictional. And for my second question, what elements make up your ideal book? Dinner party. I have two potential answers for this. One of them would include all the premiers of the provinces and constitutional amendment as the topic of conversation, because that would make for a very entertaining evening, a messy but a very entertaining evening. But putting that aside, if I want to have a dinner party, let's invite some dead people. Let's invite Pierre Trudeau. Let's invite Hugh McLennan. Let's invite Simone de Beauvoir. I don't know, just a bunch of interesting thinkers and authors. Have them all sit down and they can talk, and I can just sit there and listen and drink my tea or wine or whatever and just soak it all in. As to what elements make up my ideal book, it will vary from book to book, I suppose. I like intricate language. I like romance. It's got to be good romance, not cheesy romance. I don't know. All my favorite books seem to be quite different. Simone de Beauvoir's The Mandarins is quite different from Hugh McLennan's Two Solitudes, which is quite different from Ernesto Sabato's Of Heroes and Tombs, and that's quite different from Gabriel Garcia Marquez's 100 Years of Solitude. I'm not sure I can fairly answer that one.